G'day guys, I'm Tichborne. So we're going to go through another setup video for the a6100. We're going to navigate through the menu and we're going to go through the best settings for video and photo. Alright, so we're going to go through and reset all the settings, and so we can go through together and just follow along with the A61. So camera settings reset. Reset the camera settings, the main camera settings, yep. Cool. Alright, so let's go through and get this set up. So to turn the camera on, obviously chuck your battery in. You got the contacts. Like that. Put them in. Close the door. Pull that latch. Okay. Okay, to turn it on, you got your on switch. Just click it on. Okay, so you got the menu button. Hit menu. Okay. Then we've got, so we're in the photo mode, which is, I've just hit manual button. So that M for manual exposure or manual operation. Okay. So let's position this like that. Okay, so file format, we want to click on that. So hit the center button just here. Hit that center button. And it asks if we want RAW and JPEG or JPEG. I usually just go RAW because I don't really work with JPEG. JPEG quality, extra fine, but again I don't use JPEG. Set it up to the highest quality, 24M. Again I don't use JPEG. Aspect ratio 3:2. So if you just want to do like Instagram posts, you've got that 1:1. That's the Instagram size. If you're wanting to get like a thumbnail for your YouTube videos, you can, get your shot. You can position your shot by using the 16:9 aspect ratio. But if you're just doing normal photos, it's just the 3:2. Okay, move it along. Don't really need to know anything here. Move along. So all I'm doing to move along, I'm just clicking where it says ISO, just to click across. See, we're on that page 4. So if we go back to page 1, click across, page 2, page 3, and this is all. See that red? See up here, we've got the red camera button. This is all the photo options. Okay, so we're in photo options, and we're just going to navigate through those photo options. So page 1, page 2, page 3. Alright, let's go through this. Drive mode, single shooting. I like to have it on fast. I'm going to go fast, so fast. Continuous shooting on low, high plus, high, mid, low. So I'll just go high. That's what I shoot at. Okay, go back to the menu. Bracket setting, I don't really do anything with that. Okay, interval shooting function, shoot time, I don't really adjust any of that. Okay, keep going across. We are on page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, we're on page 5. So focus mode, I always go continuous autofocus. Okay. Focus area. So we got wide, zone, center, flexible, explain, flexible, tracking. What I normally do is go zone or center. So at the start of this video, I was shooting on the a6400. I've just gone zone. if I'm really wanting to focus on something and make sure my focus is on one point, I usually go center, and it's got a little square showing what we're actually focusing on. But yeah, was it zone? You can change that zone by clicking across. So if I want to focus something in the bottom area to the left, you can move it across, or you can move it up, move it to the right again. But yeah, so for the start of the video, I've gone flexible in the middle, but normally I usually just go center. But yeah, I'll let you guys play around and see what you guys like to use for your autofocus. But yeah, I usually use zone or center. Autofocus illuminator, I don't really use that. It's just that there's like a little red light that helps when you're in dark situations. It shows the little red light to help the autofocus find its focus points. But yeah, I don't really use it. Face eye autofocus. So it's on priority autofocus. So yeah, we've got the eye autofocus on, because on the older models we've also got animal autofocus, subject detection human, right or left eye. So if you want to focus on a certain eye, you can tell it to focus on whatever side, because you might have a really shallow depth of field, so you might want to either choose which side you want to focus on. Really leave it on auto though. That's what I leave it on, unless I'm doing a specific portrait. Oh yeah, again, what I was saying, on the older model, like the a63 and the a6500, you had to hold down that middle button and your shutter, like, to get the green spot over the eye. But yeah, with this one, you just have to hit the shutter and it does it automatically. Okay, going to the next page. What's this one here? Pre-autofocus. Yeah, on. What else? Focus area center. Don't need to muck around with that. Keep going across. Exposure comp, leave that. ISO. If you want to have your ISO on auto, just preset this. So have that to 100, move that across, and turn that down to either 16, I reckon. Normally I don't really shoot over 400. When it's really dark, I'll go to 800 and it still stays pretty clean. But yeah, I don't really want to go over 1600. After 1600 you get quite a bit of noise, so just set that max at 1600. I mean, when I say quite a bit of noise, like, that's, looking at that, that's not even too bad. Let's crank that right up. 3200. It's not too bad. But yeah, normally just set your ISO to, just manually set your ISO. But sometimes if you're outside, it can be quicker just to leave it on auto. But yeah, just manually set the auto, because if you've got the higher side turned right up, you're going to get a lot of noise. So just cap it out at 1600. Okay, metering mode, leave it on multi. First priority in multi metering. Leave that, leave that, leave that. Yeah, leave that one. Flash, we don't use a flash on here. We've we do have a flash button. Just hit that and your flash will pop up. But I don't use flash. Onboard flash ain't that really good. But yeah, so just leave that one. White balance. Okay, so with the white balance, this is important. You can leave it at auto, but trust me, you're gonna have drama if you leave it on auto. If you're shooting outside, leave it as leave it as daylight. If you're shooting in the sun, your shade, cloudy, incandescent. You can also set the Kelvin. So if you know your light, this is the Kelvin one here. If you know the temperature of the light that you're in, you can actually turn it to the temperature. So at the moment I'm using a cheap newer SL60, little 60 watt light, and that is at 56 Kelvin. The one that's just behind me. So if I know that, that I'm shooting with that, I can just shoot with 56 Kelvin. Go back to here. So you can either set it manually, set your Kelvin manually, or you can do a custom one, custom set. So what we need is a little grey card. I wonder if we can use this box. We've got white here. Here we go. Let's just use that box. So we've got a little white mark. See that little circle there? So get a little grey card or a white paper. Hit this button in the center, and it will manually set it. So it's saying the best temperature to go off is 5100. Cool, so we can manually set that to 5100. Okay, let's put that box over here. So manually set your white balance, because if you're going from inside to outside, or if you got your camera and you're showing sun and then you're bringing it back down, your temperature is gonna consistently change. And if if you're doing video, and when it comes to color grading that video, it's gonna be a nightmare, because that white balance is gonna be all over the show, and it's not gonna be a fun time at all. Where did I have this? Bloody hell. So yeah, manually set that white balance. Don't forget it. Don't leave it on auto. Yeah, because you're just gonna annoy yourself in the future. Probably set in. What's this one? White balance. Okay. Just don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Creative style. Okay, so there's no picture profiles with the a6100, and that's a big problem, because the reason why I bought this was a B cam, and for my a6500, and I use a picture profile. I use a Cine 2 profile. I've got a custom profile that I do, but so I shoot flat, and trying to match this is quite annoying. Also, since it doesn't have a picture profile, I noticed there's more grain and more noise in these pictures. So say if I'm shooting 800 ISO on my a6500, and I'm shooting 800 on this 800 ISO on this one, the a6100, I find there's more noise in the a6100 in comparison to the a6500, and it's weird because they're the exact same sensor, but I'm guessing having those picture profiles helps with the dynamic range. So this is the annoying part of this. There's no picture profiles. So we'll go creative style standard, so we can actually muck around with this, which I recommend. So turn that down as far as possible, which is -3. Turn the so that was contrast. Turn the saturation down as much as possible, -3. Sharpness, turn that down as well, because we don't want to look at it too sharp. We can do that in post if we want to sharpen things up. But so making it lower. When you lower the sharpness, it gives that more cinematic look. and we can just go menu to go back, and we don't want a picture effect. Alright, where were we looking? Focus magnifier. Yeah, we don't need that. So when you're manually focusing, this will turn on. Initial focus magnification. So this is just showing how much it will zoom in by. Just leave that. Focus on focus assist. Okay, focus peaking. So we want to turn that on when we want to go mid, and we're going to go red. That's what I use. You can change it to yellow, blue, white. I like red. It stands out. I like medium or mid, because sometimes when it's on high, there's too much red showing, so you don't really know what's in focus because it shows too much red. And when it's on low, sometimes it doesn't show enough, so I always go mid when I'm using focus peaking for manual focusing. Okay, face registration, so that's just registering a new face. So just take the shot of your face. So just pretend this is the face. Not even. Cannot register because it's not a face. Alright, well, that's what you do when you're registering that. We'll go back because, yeah. So when you register a face, obviously it's going to prioritize focusing on the faces that it knows. So I suggest doing that if you're got certain family members, or if you're shooting a main character in your story that you're filming. Just register their faces and it will pick up their faces as a priority. Small shutter, don't worry about that. Okay, so now we've gone over to the video side of things. So that purple camera, and we're on page 1. Okay, so file format. If you're going to shoot in 4K, click 4K over here. Click that to 100M. Perform the setting. Use. Is it not part of, what's wrong with this memory card? What's in this one? Ah, yes. That's a cheapo memory card. Okay, so if you're shooting in 4K, make sure that's set to 4K. Make sure you've got the right memory card. That was just the message saying the memory card's not fast enough. So yes, but again, if you're shooting 4K, I recommend using the higher quality one, which is the 100M. There's that message saying I can't record onto the memory card. Shooting in full HD. So this is 1080p. This one here. Go to that one and choose the best quality one. So if you're wanting to do slow motion, you can go 100 frames. I'm in Australia, so it's PAL. So yeah, we've got like a lower frame rate to combat the the flickering from certain lighting in Australia. So yeah, if I'm doing slow motion, I'd click on that. Obviously, it needs to be a better memory card. If I don't need 100 frames, I'm just going to go half that. I can use the 50 frames. If I'm doing an interview, I can just go the 25, like 50, that one. But if you're doing an interview, I recommend going 4K, because then you can punch in and out and not lose quality. Okay, so let's go back. So back to 100. It can't record on this memory card, but That's what I usually use if I'm doing slow motion scenes. If not, I'll just set it to 4K 25. Okay. Going across, so again, we're hitting the ISO button to go across that way, or we want to go to that little stopwatch looking button here. Just tap that to go back to page 2, page 1, page 2, page 3, so on, so on. Okay, so where were we? Okay. There we go, page 3. Okay, so it goes, what do we got? Audio level display. So we want to have that display on where is it? Okay, let's turn this on video mode. Okay. It's going to ask us what we want to do. So what's this one? This one is program auto. So it's asking if we want to shoot an auto. No, we don't. Aperture priority. So what we do, we set our aperture to what we want. So if we're shooting on like an f1.8 lens, we can set our aperture to f1.8, and then what it will do, it will adjust the shutter speed and the ISO to get the correct exposure. We're not doing that. I don't really do that, or never do that. Shutter priority. So again, we can set our shutter, and it will adjust the aperture and the ISO to get correct exposure. Manual, so you're doing the exposure by yourself. So you're manually setting your aperture. So we can turn the aperture wheel by turning this wheel up top here. This one. So this is a kit lens, and what is it, 3.5 to 5.6. So just leave it as 5.6, and when you zoom out, it's not going to change. So 16mm or 18mm to 55. So what happens, right, is your wider side will be a more open aperture at 3.5, and when you're zooming in, when you're zooming in, your aperture is going to change to 5.6. So just leave this at 5.6 when you're shooting with the kit lens, and it will stay the same aperture. And then you can adjust your shutter speed by just hitting the wheel. Okay, so let's get some more things showing here. So we're shooting at 100, so we want double our frame rate, which is 200, so we can just 200 ISO. Let's have a look. Let's manually set the ISO 1600. It's showing that it's not enough exposure. It's a -1 exposure, -1 stop. So we need to bump it up to 2000. It's at -7. Getting closer. So going back to the metering mode, it's set to multi. So it's taking a shot of everything in the picture. So we've got black there. So if I move this over, we've got still a lot of dark here. Okay, so it's taking all this dark into consideration. But if I pull it over to this table, it's saying now that we're exposed correctly. And now we've got more shadow entering the picture, and turning it more to the shadows, and it's saying that we're 2 stops underexposed, 1 stop underexposed, 0.3 of a stop. But yeah, so that's the metering mode, and we've set that to multi. So again, it's just taking a shot of everything that's in the picture and saying what's exposed. So yeah, that's what that one is. What are we doing? So let's go back to the menu. Okay. Okay, so let's go to page 3. Audio level on. We can adjust. So back on page 2, we can adjust the actual level. So yeah, set to 26. It's pretty high. You can use it. I usually, if I'm not using a mic, I'll probably set it to like 12. Let's see if that peaks. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 12's all right. If you're using a shotgun mic, turn it down to 1, and then just turn it up on the actual mic. Or if it's a shotgun mic with no battery and it doesn't have a dial, you can turn it up through here. But I usually just say leave it at 1 because the shotgun mic will pick up noise better. Let's go back. Okay, so let's go page 3. Okay, audio level display. Oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to show you the audio level. Okay, so here we go. See these little green lines? If I get closer, 1, 2, 3, and we're not peaking, which is nice. So that's great. We don't want this to be peaking. There's like a little red spot here. It's not letting me peak because I've turned it right down, but that's all right. So that's so we wanted to have that on because we want to see what our audio levels are doing. Okay, with noise reduction, leave that off because when you turn it on, it sounds horrible. So don't even worry about that option. Marker display on. Marker settings. So if you want to show certain lines on your screen, so we can set a center line on or off. I don't really use one on. Aspect ratio. So at the moment I've got the aspect ratio of it's off at the moment. But say if you wanted to shoot like black bars, you can go through. You hit the last one here and hit menu to get out. And now we've got these little lines here. So if you're wanting to shoot again like a cinematic look, you can set these lines here. And what's going to happen? So in post you'll add the black bars, but then if you're shooting someone's face, to shoot within these lines. Because then anything past these lines is there's going to be a black bar. So we can set that. Let's turn that back off because we don't need it. You can go guide frame on. Oh, we don't need that on. Safety zone. No, we don't need that. Okay. Silent shooting. Yep. So I'm guessing that's for when you're shooting photos. Click that to M and you might be able to get silent shooting and setting on it should be silent. I'm not sure if that's actually available on this camera. I've not even really tried. Front curtain shutter on. Release without lens. So sometimes this is off on older cameras. So release without lens. So if you take the lens off, it's still gonna keep on recording, and you can actually install a manual lens. So if there's no these little electrical if there's none of these little electrical things, little electric spots, what will happen is if that's set to disable, it's not going to pick up the lens. So if you're shooting without autofocus lens and it's just metal with no little electrical points, the lens won't pick it up. So you want to have that set to enable, so then the camera can pick up the manual lens. Steady shot on. Keep going across. Okay, so if you're in an area and you keep noticing that your screen keeps turning off, you might be having drama with the camera actually asking, oh, should I be showing through the EV or should I be showing through that? If you have any dramas with that, just manually set it to viewfinder or monitor. But I've been leaving it auto, so when your eye does go to this, got a little sensor here. When that covers, it should go to EV. Zebras. I don't really use zebras, but it shows you what is exposed. So let's go back out. So it's saying over here it's a little bit overexposed, but as you can see, the majority of the picture is exposed, right? If I turn this up, it's going to show a lot of overexposed. So in here, it's overexposed. Back down. I don't need that. Okay, turn zebras off. Again, I don't really use them, but they are handy to let you know what is overexposed. Okay, grid lines. So that's going back to your photography for that one. Okay, this was custom keys. So you can set your custom keys up. I don't really set the customs up. I leave it is what it is. So I use this one as my aperture wheel. I use the actual wheel as a shutter wheel and ISO. But yeah, I don't really adjust anything. I don't really change anything as for my keys. But yeah, we only got one custom key by the looks of it, which is up here. C1. Looks like the trash can can be adjusted to be C2. So we can change the trash can to something else. But again, I don't really muck around with that. The dials. So you can actually change the dial setup. So you can change that to shutter. You can change this to aperture. But again, I like the way it is. Okay, what have we got here? Leave a button, yes, leave that. Yeah, leave that. So if you're shooting in JPEG, you can actually send your JPEGs to your smartphone via Wi-Fi, but again, I don't shoot JPEG, so that's that. I think this is pretty much all of it now. It's set up for video and photo. But let's keep looking through these settings so you know what settings they are. So to actually set up the Wi-Fi, actually go through and set up that. Bluetooth settings. Location, yeah, this is all good. Good. Again, we're moving over more at the top here. But yeah, I don't really adjust any of these at all. Brightness, yeah, so set that to sunny. No, yeah, sunny weather to make it brighter. Leave it as sunny. Go back. Don't really use the EV. Okay. Okay, do they confirm? Yeah, I'll leave it. I like to leave it if they ask me. Off temp. Okay, so if you're shooting in 4K and it asks you, and it tells you that you're starting to have high temps, go in here, make sure it's set to high, because if it's set on standard, you might have overheating issues. So leave that at high or set it to high, and you won't have overheating issues. And going back, I can change this to NTSC, but I'm in Australia, so I'm going to leave it as PAL. Cleaning mode, don't need that. Configuration, we don't need any of this. And yeah, so that's pretty much the settings to navigate through this. It's easy. Like a lot of people say, oh, Sony system is hard to navigate, but yeah, just think that's your photography side. The next one is like video side, and then you've got different pages along to that. What else? Network. So yeah, you can go through your network options. There's only 2 pages on that one. And playback option. Setup option. But yeah, so, and then again, all the pages showing down below. But yeah, so it's not hard to navigate. You just got to get used to it, just like anything in life. But yeah, so that's pretty much set up the way I would have it set for video and photo. Cool. And now we can just exit out of this. We can turn that off. we are done for that setup. That's how I set mine up for the a6100. Alright guys, so that was the setup for the a6100. If you've got any questions, yeah, just message me in the comments. I will answer it. Might be a day late, a couple of days, but I will answer it. Also, if this video has been a help, give me a like, give me a subscribe. I'm going to be doing pretty much all the Sony range, E-mount range. So yeah, so the NEX cameras, I'll do a walkthrough, the setup walkthrough on that. All the 6000 series cameras, I'll do a walkthrough on them. All the A7 cameras, I'll do a walkthrough on them. So if you want your camera to be done, just message me down below, and yeah, as long as it's an E-mount system, I should have it on board, and I'll get that done. With all that being said, thanks for watching. Again, give us a like, give us a subscribe. I'm trying to build that up. But yes, thank you for your time. Hope this has been helpful. Take care. Cheers.